Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages. We're bringing to you today a 5 minute or less book blast episode as Zach here gives his reactions on book 2 of Matthew Stover's The Acts of Caine. What's it called, Zach?
Blade of Tyshalle.
Great. Although I don't know if it's great. I haven't read it. Zach, what'd you think of this book?
I'm going to start by saying yes. I think it was actually very, very good. It's a good book for a number of reasons, a number of things. A lot of what I said about the first book applies to the second book. Just to briefly recap, it's equal parts fantasy and some sci-fi and some political commentary and a number of things in that vein. It's a little bit higher brow of a book in that sense. I'm going to bring a negative in here.
Ooh.
That I think was good for the sake of it, but could turn you off of this book.
Okay.
There are parts that, for physical and psychological reasons, made me want to throw up.
Ew.
I think it was very effective at what it was showing and demonstrating and the point it was making, and it had an immense weight to it, and the fact that it got that reaction out of me is great and huge, and so I valued it for it. But I can also understand there's certain parts or chapters that, like, if this were a movie, I'd be putting my hands over someone's eyes because I'm like, you don't want to see this.
See, that both turns me off of the book and intrigues me to go, what would get that reaction?
there's just some icky things, and it really is not just physically icky, because Grimdark is like that, but it messes with characters and a little bit the reader psychologically.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's a take. This is not the end of the series. So based on your experience with this book, are you going to continue on?
I am going to. I already have it queued up, not next in my list, but I will probably have read the third book before we get to JordanCon this year. It leaves off at a point where there's definitely more to go, but things have also definitely changed. The next book you're going to get is definitely not going to be the first book or the second book again. It's something going to be different.
Okay.
It can't be the same.
Oh. Now, let me talk to you about that connection between book 1 and book 2 again. Was this a direct flow from book 1?
It does connect and flow. Story-wise, it definitely, like, a lot of what happened in book 1 matters for book 2. You could not just read book 2. Don't do that. That being said, there is a multi-year time jump. So, like, things have happened in the in-between as well. It's not just a continuation of the story from the first one.
But it sounds like where book 2 ends, there's more significant impacts, changes, shifts. So you're saying you expect book 3 has to be something quite a bit different. It's not just that straight flow.
That is a valid comment.
Okay.
Where it technically leaves off, I mean, you could just continue where it was, but the fate of what the story will look like is drastically different.
The quality of writing,
very good.
High, medium.
I think it's very well written. The fact that it could get a visceral reaction out of me and gross parts says something about the quality of it that I think is actually positive in that case, as well as it dips into certain ideological or psychological, political, theological concepts that I enjoy and enjoyed in some of my deeper thinking classes, but don't often get in just fantasy fiction.
So not really a shallow story.
No. Could you read it shallowly? Again, sure. I think the first one you'd have an easier time. You get to the second one, you gotta read it at a little bit of a more engaged level.
All right. There you go, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.